Okay, the lesson today is how to weave up against an edge to create an angle. So what I have here is a woven section where I've already previously woven the triangle here that I'm going to weave against. I had extra yarn down below. I pull it up. That's called a float on the back. And I'm deciding to pull it up this way and send it back that way because I want to be in the right shed going across. So I'm going to pick up 2 on this pass here, and then I'm going to go back. And we're going to cover these threads, and each time go across one more warp like so. I'm going to set the edge and push it down, not too tight and not too loose. So the tensioning in this is important. And so the packing down is as well. And as you can see, I need to cover my next warp thread over. I'm climbing the stairs going up. I'm setting the 45-degree angle. I'm pushing down on the edge, and then I'm pulling it down into place and packing it down. I'm going to go around this next warp thread, excuse me, and head back out to the same edge. So these exercises that we do on these small widths are really helpful, because the fact that you have to turn as much as you do when you're making these means that you are creating your tension, you're creating your hem, your edges, you're testing to see that you get enough yarn in between the warp threads, but not too much, which would make it bow out. You're testing to see that you've got enough in the warp threads, but not pulling too tight, which will end up with an unweavable fabric if you weave it too tight, especially on these looms. So learning on these frame looms is really great for beginning, learning the names of technique, learning how to use both your hands symmetrically. You'll see that both my hands are doing the same job. It just depends on which direction they're going in. So again, I'm going to do what's called set the edge, right? 45-degree, push down on the edge, and then make my loop and go back around. So in this case, I'm going to go up a little bit at an angle to pick up this next warp thread. But as you can see, this is creating a nice line across. And this is simply done through weft face weaving. Okay, and in the future videos, I'm going to show you a couple of techniques that you can use when you reach a spot like this in your weaving. And in this case, I could pick up all the warp threads, but again, I recommend that you pick up just 3 or 4 at a time, even in the big weavings. I don't typically pick up a lot at a time because over time, then you're going to end up with tensioning problems. So you want to keep this nice and steady, especially on these samplers. Really test yourself. It's a great way to test yourself. It's almost like running with ankle weights on. And then when you get to these looms that create the sheds for you, you can have much more control in your handwork. So I need to tie off. If I tie off here, which in the big work, you tie off in an interior way, that's one option. Okay, that's one tie off. On these samplers, I recommend tying off on the end, which is not recommended in bigger pieces and certainly not in commission work. But in this case, I just want to show you that rather than go around this warp thread, I'm going under both the ones on the end and around the one there to create for you a shed that's even. Okay? Thank you.